What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting edition of Real Estate Podcast, episode 327. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
And I just got done watching the weirdest Microsoft screensaver with Adam.
This week we watched fucking Bardo.
Bardo, dude.
Bardo. It's Cruise. You watched the ending.
It was, I mean, I didn't have any expectations going into it. I mean, we watched the trailer and then forgot about it, and then Dirt dug it up.
Well, saw that opening, was like, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it was, I didn't know what to expect going into it, but Jesus Christ, like this kind of like exceeded any small little expectation because I've seen this dude's work before. You know, Birdman, great movie. Revenant, great movie. 21 Grams, like he's done some great things, but I've never, like, he went there. Like Birdman kind of went there for a minute. You know, it would kind of go off the rails a little bit. I mean, Revenant was, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio getting attacked by a bear, but like that's its own thing. It's just, it was very interesting watching this and then seeing a lot of the same correlations between that character and his own life. And then whenever you finally like get to the end of the flick and you figure out what exactly is going on, it's like, okay.
well, in that whole time you're trying to figure out why it's
Why
like,
everything's
I know
weird.
this ain't right. Something's off. Like the first time I noticed it, we were talking before you got here, Trev, like whenever he's talking to somebody and they're like, you got to use your mouth. I don't like when you do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? This is strange. I told Griffin when I got on here, man, it was like What Dreams May Come with a little mother sprinkled on it with the changing of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
How we just go, you know, like when you
kinda-
get to the end, you see when he wakes up and he's got the holes in his feet. You're like, what's that about? Then later it's like, oh.
So while you guys were talking, I did a quick little search right here because one thing that rose to mind whenever the credits hit, I was like, okay, there was no one in this film named Bardo.
Well, that was the name of his documentary, right? False
I thought it was
Chronicles of a Handful of Truth.
So I just did a quick search for what Bardo is, and according to Wikipedia, it says in some schools of Buddhism, Bardo, or a really longer, complicated wording, it's an intermediate, transitional, or liminal state between death and rebirth. The concept arose after Buddha's death, with a number of earlier Buddhist schools accepting the existence of such an intermediate state, while other schools rejected it. So yeah,
I mean, that kind of
summed it up.
Yeah, that kind of hits the nail on the head there. And
I feel like I called it early, the whole baby thing. Did not see the coma thing coming.
Right.
Like, because that scene was so wild and so ridiculous, and like the way dude was just kind of slumped over in the hall, I'm like, oh, he's checking out. Like,
right.
Like that, like this
train.
has went down, and the woman walks out, the umbilical cord still hanging from her, like all that crap, and I was like, okay, so this is one of those we lost our baby and it fucked us up movies.
Well, when it starts like it ends with him trying to fly.
Yeah.
That little.
Yeah,
I thought that was a dream instantly. I was like, is he dreaming? Is this a dream?
Yeah. I was like, are we finally getting a sequel
like
to Birdman?
No. How wild was that scene where the migrants were coming across?
Oh,
and it
my
had
God.
all that traffic lined up.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
it was just chaos. That was real. That's where I got that like Mother.
Yeah.
When all the people show up and it's just chaos.
Oh,
it's
dude,
like, man,
the
this is
whole
like kind of like uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I was thinking about, and it didn't happen obviously until the end when it put it all together. I was wondering why, because it's either happens full on twice, or at least just two moments that I remember. It's when like you to kind of go with what you're saying. It was those moments where there was just like chaos, like everything's just bustling. You see monorails, then there's these shots where it's just people are fucking everywhere. Just like it's almost like it's auditory overload.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it would go
And
from
then
nothing to a lot.
yeah, well, like that. It was that shot. It was after he, I guess, kind of lets go of his parents or something.
After he visits his mom.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
out in the city and it's empty, and we
Yeah.
got that really cool
The
shot.
shadows.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't know how much natural lighting he used because I know he's kind of got a penchant for that. I think, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, as he gets like those moments where he would just be in those empty spots, and then he just almost like migrate back into the bustling like city and people and stuff.
Well, the way.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, what does that signify?
Well,
I was like, is this like were there moments where he's dead?
well, in the way that he
Well,
was ashamed to go up there and get the award,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
he
Yeah, like
goes into the bathroom. Then he's a little boy talking to his old man.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
dancing's
the
for
word,
sissies. What did he say? He said something like that.
Grown
yeah,
men
like,
don't dance.
Yeah, that's it. But
yeah,
then he goes in that room that the dad goes in, and when he gets there, it's
Yeah.
his mom's house,
Yeah.
and
mhm,
she's like, "Your dad was here the other day." He's like, Like,
Yeah. Well, and here's what I attributed a lot of that stuff to. And this is why I want to watch the movie again. Is like, okay, he was in a coma at home, and all of this is playing out while he's in a coma. So imagine someone opens a window, you hear the bustle and rustle of the
yeah,
world happening in his coma brain, and then they
yeah.
close the window and
hmm
everything is gone. And
Oh,
it's like,
he was absolutely. It was absolutely like up until the reveal, or at least up until we realized that like the train sequence was him
yeah.
stroking out.
mhm,
Well, when she's
Um,
giving the speech, they probably played that for him.
yeah,
yeah.
That's
Well,
why
yeah.
he was like there, and he's like, I'm just stuck here. I can't do nothing, but I can hear it.
yeah,
Yeah, like when
Kind of
that
makes you wonder
when we
about
get the
fucking with people that are in comas now. It's like,
yeah,
yeah. Well, like, whenever that reveal happened, you're like, okay, all that we've been watching is like him trying to make like his brain process like like his brain's trying to process everything.
yeah,
there's little
Cuz
bits and
like
pieces of real moments. They're just all
yeah, like he's remembering his life,
linked
but it's all in
together.
such a
It's like a
mishmash like
flash before your eyes, kind of,
yeah.
yeah,
and it
Well,
starts with a kid.
well it's like he was I mean, it's not limbo, but like because for some reason I want to correlate Bardo
Well,
from
Jacob's
the
ladder.
Tibetan idea to like, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
he's Schrodinger's person, dude, or Schrodinger's Mexicano. Like he does like, and I thought that was a pretty interesting little thing they did where they were like, there would be those moments where he would be down there and at that dude's show that they were trying to get him to go to,
Yeah,
yeah,
and dude's just talking shit to him.
the
He's like,
whole
oh,
time.
so you fucking up in the States, you know,
Yeah,
you're all fucking for us and everything, but then
yeah.
you come down here and you ain't shit.
Hanging out
Like,
with the colonizers. Did you notice that woman that did his makeup? And he was like, "Oh, you
yeah,
weird that you're here." It was like a dream, you know. But
yeah,
the way that she only did one eye with that like Egyptian style,
yeah,
mhm.
did y'all notice that?
yeah,
And he
I
just
It
think
was,
sat there and took that beating.
the director, I think our boy is a low key metalhead because there was some metal as fuck shots in this movie.
Well, dude, the battle,
The
yeah,
battle, the fucking
the
the
fucking Tower
Cortez
of Babel.
thing,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
like that pile of corpses and that dude sitting there talking to him like, yeah, y'all don't like me, but because of me, y'all exist. Like so that weird type of shit going on, like stuff that I know I culturally don't understand really.
yeah.
So like a lot of it was just like over my head, but
But
just
I heard him
it
out.
was, yeah, I was like, this is fucking crazy, man.
At one point,
yeah,
he walked past a store that had something Of course, it was in another language, but it was something Babel.
Yeah.
Before he gets to the shadows,
Yeah.
when he sees the
Mm.
spider
Yeah.
on the
It was on that
dress, and it
dress.
was like,
Yeah.
whoa, what's this? This is
That's
like,
just that's the second time this year we've come across that narrative like underlining, because we also got a Bible reference and inside.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird that's kind of. I mean, now granted, it's in these more. I don't even know what you want to call these movies. Like it, it's claimed as a dark comedy drama,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but I feel like it don't even fit in that.
No. I mean, the movie felt like we talked about this last week with Asteroid City being kind of like this introspective look at like this is possibly Wes Anderson
Yeah,
putting himself on the page.
Oh, I
This
see where
was
you're going. I
mm-hmm.
yeah,
agree.
because
Yeah.
like he released Birdman, won awards for that. Then he come back released Revenant, a huge Hollywood motion picture,
Yeah,
won awards for that, and like that whole him like he moved from Mexico and
mm-hmm.
lived in the United States for 20 years. And then went back to Mexico and ran into people that he used to run with and had a lot of these same
Yep.
interactions
Well,
with these people.
if you remember, whenever him and his wife were fighting early on in the movie, or I think it's his wife, but she says something. She's like your imposter syndrome is
It is
almost
his
too much
wife.
to handle.
When they're
Yes,
in the
yeah,
kitchen.
So
yeah,
like once that exchange went
Mm-hmm.
down, I'm like, okay, what if it's like what if there's a little semi autobiographical stuff kind of laced throughout this?
yeah. He's so the director said that he got the idea because like he's getting older and like just him trying to be someone of two different nationalities,
Yeah,
being faithful and wanting to represent, the country that he grew up in and those people and bring that to the world while also wanting to be this artist and this person that creates and how that kind of factors into it and how like some of the greatest things that you create may not be linked to like what you hold as like
Yeah,
what you consider like very important or most dear to yourself
it
or
was
like
real
your
personal.
yeah.
Yeah,
And to me that was the biggest takeaway from the movie was just how personal this was. Like of course
yeah,
he didn't have a stroke and him and his wife may experience loss of a child. I'm not sure. Like he
yeah,
didn't really, but it's like, but it felt so. Everything felt so personal, and he was putting it on the page and almost making it as abstract as possible. When like
the only
it's
thing this movie was missing was Joaquin Phoenix.
oh yeah, yeah,
but this
right.
guy did a good job.
I
It's
love this
Yeah,
oh
guy. Yeah,
that's not me shitting on the lead at
he
all,
did a good
man. But like,
job, especially
but
for
for
somebody
real, yeah. I mean, he almost kind of channeled
dude.
Joaquin
He
Phoenix a little
did.
bit,
He was
yeah,
Hispanic Joaquin Phoenix
yeah,
but
for sure, or
yeah, like
Spanish. I'm not sure.
because some a point that I felt like got raised in it too with his dilemma of you know the whole you know am I representing Mexico enough? Am I
Yeah, the
representing
whole
America enough?
speech.
Am I that whole thing. And the way the movie kind of paints this type of picture where it's like it's two societies that
mhm,
are so ingrained with one another.
yeah,
But
yeah,
when you step back and look at each person's sense of nationalism,
yeah,
they fucking hate each other.
yeah, right,
And
Dude, I
there's
was.
just this and there's so many generations that have been born from it now that are just like, oh, well, like don't make a fuck to them.
yeah,
Yeah,
It was just an interesting. It was an interesting thing to highlight there that there is absolutely strong differences and maybe I don't know, maybe it's a sense of looking too much into it, but it also kind of shows I guess to be more glass half full about it too. Um that all that type of thinking can exist in one homogenized society.
Yeah.
I was picking up what he's putting down.
I still
Yeah.
never understood why the fuck Amazon was trying to buy Baja California,
Well,
though.
it's just Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, down in the Baja,
Well,
where Jesse
and it's one
Ventura lives.
of and like coming from that perspective that he came from, like focusing more so on the Mexican side of things, it's like, you know, that whole internal dilemma that you would hear like people kind of talk about here and there would be like, well, good, I'm glad they're buying it. Maybe they'll make something out of
Yeah.
it. And then you have other people that are just like, well, that's part of our culture and all. So it was kind of like his way to like divide, because it's like if Amazon buys it, then the United States doesn't technically buy it, but is it worse or better that like a company buys a gigantic piece of land? You know, and it's like, I don't know. It was kind of his dig at like capitalism, and then also like
I mean,
how,
yeah, for sure. I mean, it was
yeah,
just, it was so oddly placed, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, even to
Oh,
the point where when they showed him in the coma, they were listening to the TV talk about that, and it's
Yeah.
because I thought that that was something that he was just kind of like that was kind of being fabricated in his head. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was picking up little pieces of dialogue
Yeah.
and stitching it together. But no, like whenever that they showed the TV station, and I was like, holy shit, okay, like this is crazy. But it was such an interesting, and I feel like that this is going to be like kind of swept under the rug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
well, no one's talked about it.
Nobody. It's just on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah. And I understand why like it would be hard to sell something like this in the US market, but also at the same time, just the introspective look that the director took, on top of like, I'm a creative and I've done all this stuff, things I'm happy with, things I'm not happy with, hearing different people's expression of that and their takes on it, whether they like it or don't like it, and their criticisms and all this kind of stuff. Like, it was so well made from like, that's the relation that I could get from that. You know, the 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 stuff that was happening within like, you know, the culture and all that stuff didn't really resonate because I'm not a part of that culture, of course. But a lot of the other stuff still resonated enough to where I was like, I really enjoyed it. You know, like it was just, it's I think it's fantastic and phenomenal when a creative person can put themselves and their egos aside and then put everything on paper like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, the good, the bad, good opinions, bad opinions, the everything, and just like play it out. And it's just very fascinating, you know.
For
It
sure. Because, I
it
mean, like, for instance, like the way that, the way that they depicted him and his buddy talking, and
yeah,
dude would just like rip him to shreds, rip his work, all this stuff or whatever. And then, you would see where, kind of what I was saying earlier, and it
Uh,
adds to that too, where he would be like, what, I think it's like a sequence where they're like in like a alleyway, like some sort of vendor type street, but it's like they're giving him shit, and they're like, you've been kissing a lot of gringo ass, like stuff like
yeah,
that. And it's like, regardless of whether it's Hispanic, American, African, wherever, um, when you get to when someone has enough balls to write dialogue that would normally be like, you know,
taboo, almost.
yeah, well, like conversations like that would be kept behind closed doors,
Yeah, yeah,
or
well,
in areas where, any kind of ethnicity would be offended, not just white or black or Mexican, just anybody.
yeah,
Um, I mean, that's good writing. Because I
Oh
mean, to
yeah,
act like it don't happen is a really you're lying to yourself, you know.
yeah, absolutely.
Not, I mean, it's just it's real. I guess that's what
Well,
I'm trying to get to. That's
and
my point.
him and his wife did lose a child.
Oh, they
Oh
So
did.
yeah,
yeah. Well, no, I mean
trauma
like
bond.
I'm talking about in the real world. The director, the writer,
Oh, for
lost a
real?
child, and he talked about how people misunderstood because there were certain people like, "What the fuck, man? You killing kids?" You
Yeah,
know. And it's like, well, but he said somewhere what it was. He said, "I think I have the right as a writer and a filmmaker to have access to my emotional baggage.
yeah,
I think that's the best source that I can bring to the film, especially this film."
yeah. And the way that he handled it,
Yeah,
like him having that conversation with his father, he's like, "I never got over it," and his father's like, "I know, and you won't, but it's okay. You know, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay. It's okay." Um, that moment with him and his dad was such a it was so well shot and it was just so well done, you know?
yeah.
Oh, I mean, he absolutely nailed his cinematography as
Mm,
always. Like
Hmm.
I always enjoy the way he does it. Like
Yeah.
these weird like different takes on a long shot
Yes. Yeah.
because like, you know, just because like just because Birdman was an attempt at doing a long shot start to finish,
Yeah.
but like just any kind of long shot like that, man, this guy has nailed that art
Yeah.
to a T.
That
And yeah,
dance the dance sequence thing where it's almost one continuous shot up until the dialogue starts to happen and it's just like there's 50 people here dancing and this camera is just weaving in and out of people and
it
like
was great.
how you
well,
Yeah.
know like
well, I know Adam has mentioned it earlier and stuff too, but the battles that
Oh,
like the fighting
yeah,
going down.
when
yeah,
it done
Um,
that top view of the building, I
oh
was like,
yeah,
"That's a
that
poster."
I was exactly about to bring
Yeah,
say
it's
that. Yeah,
beautiful.
that shot was meant. And what's weird is that in that little brief moment, I'm like, is I want to make sure I'm pronouncing his name correctly as best as I can. It's NRE2, I think.
yeah.
Anyways, uh he channeled I was like, is he straight up doing his own version? Is he doing his Barry is this his Barry Lyndon?
Right, right.
Like, cause that's a lot of fucking props, a lot of extras, a lot of ladders. There were a lot of ladders in this movie.
And they just kept bringing them bitches in.
Well, like
They
there'd
would
be
run in with a
there
ladder.
would be a shot where he'd go across the highway or street, and you look down, and it's just a ladder that's just like adjacent to nothing.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, his take on the human mind breaking down was really cool because I know they tried to make it look open ended, but that motherfucker died, man.
Yeah, he was
oh
dead.
yeah,
Like he had a crossover sequence. Like
Yeah.
whenever he's walking and they're all like standing on the light
Well,
post and they're like, "Where are you going, Dad?" And he's
yeah.
like,
And then his
"You don't
mom
want
and
no
his
part of
dad
this
was behind
shit."
him.
Yeah, there's a
He's
lot
like,
of
"Go
sand
back.
out
I'll see
here,
you
guys.
later."
You know? Yeah.
yeah.
He was at peace with
Yeah.
it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was absolutely I think like he made peace with it, but it's almost like he, I mean, when you die, I mean that's kind of like Jacob's ladder. Like that was like yeah, like when you let it go, you're good.
Oh,
You're free
yeah,
finally.
yeah. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed it, and there's a lot of layers there to unpack. There's a lot of going back and watching this again is not going to take away from the experience, in my opinion, because now it's like, what can you pick up?
yeah. You can
Well,
unpack it now.
Yeah,
I mean, and I agree, but I can't help but wonder though. Could it? I mean, I mean, obviously he felt that it needed to be. That's why we got the movie we got.
Mm-hmm. Said it was gonna
But
be longer.
could could the editing have made it a little bit short, at least right under the 2 hour mark.
How much did he cut, Griffin?
He cut like over 30 minutes out just to get it down to 2 hours and 39 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, could
now
they have
I would argue that for a story like this, something as personal as this, I know he's a filmmaker, and it's one of the few times I'll ever be like, hey, this actually would work. There's a part of me that's like, man, they could have took more out, but there's the other part of me that's like, man, now that I know that he's clearly cut that much, why not keep that in there and give us a 2-part little mini thing?
Yeah. Well,
Like
and
False Chronicles of Handful of Truths Part 1 and then Part 2.
yeah. Because I mean, and that was one thing that me and Adam was talking about before you got on, is like I would have loved to have seen more of his younger stuff. You know what I mean?
Because it starts with a kid.
Yeah. I mean, it starts with a kid and focuses around like his later years,
Mm.
and I would love to have seen like, his experience while doing the documentaries, his experience before that, the relationship that he had with his friend that had that talk show, like beforehand. Like,
Before he went all Hollywood.
yeah, I mean, I could have watched a 4 hour version of this
But I
and been
mean, but would it,
happy.
but I mean, and I don't know if I could have sat through necessarily all of that, only because if you think about it, it would have just been normal movie up until the kid situation happens. And then that's when the surreal,
No,
like,
it would have been flashbacks.
oh,
I mean,
oh,
yeah,
what?
he's
That's,
laying there
yeah,
dying
okay,
still.
okay, yeah,
Because
okay, okay, okay.
we don't get the
I thought
stroke
you,
till right at the end. So you would see, there's no telling what he cut out.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 minutes is quite a bit of, especially
mm,
Yeah.
the way he was stringing shit together. A lot would happen.
Yeah.
And when I was sitting there watching it, I am like, how much more's left? Like, because I'm like, all right, what's the end game here? I
Yeah.
really want to know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But then
if
when
they
it
had
goes
just,
off, it's like, oh, that wasn't too long. Because
yeah, well,
I was happy
it's
with the
that
way it
second,
ended.
yeah, it's that second reveal, man.
Yeah.
Because the whole, like, because if it had been like, and don't, and I'm not necessarily, I understand the intimacy behind this film with his approach to it. But as a consumer watching a film, 2.5 hours to tell me that the loss of a child's fucked you up. I mean, we could dial that back a little bit. So I was kind of in the same boat with Adam. I was like, all right, where are we going now? Like, what's this like?
It's
Like, all
this
right, we've
dream
got the
state
ash.
we're in.
Well, yeah, like he's got the ashes.
Yeah.
They're gone. Okay, I get it. Like, so that's
Well, I
closure.
kept
That's
waiting to
happened.
snap back to reality.
Yeah.
Oops, there
Yeah,
goes
I get.
gravity.
Yeah,
You
that. Yeah,
know?
you put it. Yeah, that's a
And
perfect
I'm
way
like,
to
when are
put it.
we, like, because then you would think it was back, but it's like, nope, this ain't, something's
Yeah.
off here. Because he's talking and he's not talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or he's
those
got
little
holes in his
cues.
feet. And it's like, okay.
Those little cues, though. That kind of that would mess with me a
When
little
he was
bit
chasing
throughout
her
the
around that
movie.
apartment, now knowing what you know, he's probably just hearing her voice or something.
Yeah,
And then he
or
just
just
got
like,
in this moment where he remembered it. Because that's when he was like, marry me.
well, yeah, and all the unsettling moments where it would either be where someone would go, "Hey, use your mouth, man.
Yeah.
You're fucking with me," or like, um, he would see reactions, but he like when he finally tells that dude his peace of mind or
Yeah.
gives him that, dude starts flipping the fuck out, and dude's just sitting there just staring
He said
off,
he
and
was
dude's
tired of hearing
fucking,
his voice.
yeah, he
Yeah.
just tunes it out.
He's gone. And then when they're dancing, Griffin brought that up and go, he was talking about the Let's Dance
Mm-hmm.
Oh
scene
my
where, and he was
God.
like, they're probably playing that in the room or something. Because that's
Yeah.
not what was playing during that memory.
No.
But and the girl was clapping her hands and the song was changing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
like, what's happening
when
here?
things got unsettling, that was like in hindsight, that's clearly when like he was partially conscious and still he was in two places at once. He was Bardo, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and the thing about it too is like there was no rhyme or rhythm to it. Like,
Yeah, and not to be left field with it right here, but that weird state, I would love for the way he goes from like abandoned city to bustling one, and it's all in that one take, you know.
mhm,
I would love for that to be like a way that they interpret Todash in the Dark Tower,
yeah, right, yeah,
slipping in and out of dimensions, but it's very seamless,
yeah,
very like it just everything just peels back
yeah.
gradually. But
And that was the thing. I was trying to pick up like clues and hints as to like
oh, he
when.
buried him deep, man. Because like he definitely made a nice haystack to bury the needles in.
Yeah, because I was looking for the trigger. I'm like, okay, things are going off the rails. I'm waiting for the trigger. What's causing the things to go off the rails? The movie starts off the rails. The movie ends off the rails, but like going through it, I'm like, there's a trigger, there's something here. And then it would just be an extended sequence of like just crazy random shit happen. And
Shit
then
that
it would
runs
snap
together.
back. Yeah, and then it would snap back to like reality for like a brief period, and then it would go off the rails again. And then once you think that it's going as far as it can, then it continues to go even further. Like that sequence with him walking down the street. There's nobody there, then there's
Mm-hmm.
people there. Then people start falling out and
Yep.
it's like, okay. And then it's like, all right,
He's
well
like, what's wrong? I can't tell you.
yeah,
What?
and then it's he walks up on that statue and it's like, okay, well, this is like a post-apocalyptic what's
Mm-hmm.
happening here, and then you see all the
the
bodies.
the lighting
It's
for those shots particular like in that little area of the film where he's walking through like almost like the rainy overcast areas,
hmm
the
they
lighting of those
No, dude.
shots made me feel a certain
What
way.
was really cool was when he was talking about him walking up on the tower of people. How
yeah,
after they're just like cut, and then we see
Oh
the
yeah.
set that they're using to
yeah,
film that shot, and it's like, what the fuck?
yeah,
What is this? Did this really
yeah,
happen? He's just gonna smoke a cigarette or something? Like,
right, yeah. That sequence where it started to get night outside, but the way that the shadows and everything was so
mm-hmm.
well defined, guarantee you they shot all that during the day and then put that filter over it
Oh yeah.
because it made it feel so unreal. You know what I mean?
Especially when someone ran up to. Well, dude, it was like a dream.
Yeah.
This
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
this dude did a perfect. Like, this is what a dream feels like. Shit runs
Exactly.
together.
Yeah.
You're not in the right place.
Yeah.
You know, but you just go with it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're here.
Don't don't want to fight
Really
back.
felt like
You
a
know.
dream.
Yeah.
Good job.
I really enjoyed it. I love all the stuff that this dude does, and I mean, I just this feels like it's such a look at himself as a person
Yeah.
and the things that he had been through, and it's him applying everything that he's learned in his craft to bringing this like crazy surreal story to life, and he knocked it out of the park, man. Like I
Yeah.
love the stuff that he's done, and
Yeah.
I want to see that Javier Bardem movie that he did too. But
Yeah.
like I
Well,
loved it.
this I feel like one reason why this movie probably isn't getting spoken or talked about a lot is because this is a film where if you're hardline programmed for
Yeah.
like Marvel and shit like that, man,
Yeah,
if your cinematic tastes are very limited, like this. Now, I would also argue this is a good deprogrammer too, because it's gonna have to make you shut up, put your
Oh,
phone
you're gonna have to
down.
pay attention. I mean,
Yeah, oh for
mhm,
sure, you
yeah.
know.
yeah,
But I mean, it's a heavy movie.
That's
it
why
is. Yeah,
like that Jacob's Ladder, that what dreams may come, Mother.
yeah,
It just like he did a good job at, especially
Yeah,
with the mother thing,
yeah,
with the way these scenes would run together. That's what it
yeah.
keeps saying, that broken record, but
It was. I loved it, man. I'm definitely, and like I said this last night after I finished watching it because I finished the movie, got on Discord, and I was like, "Yeah, I finished the movie," and then I basically what I said was, "I love the movie. I thought it was amazing. I'm not sure how many times I'm gonna watch it though." Because it's so
Yeah.
heavy. You know what I mean? There's just
Yeah,
it's so heavy. It's one of those it's almost like when you watch Requiem for a Dream,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
yeah,
after that, I had that same not the exact same feeling, but I had a very similar feeling where it's just like, you feel at peace because you see what,
Yeah.
there
you see
there's
the resolution to the
But you
story,
just played out
yeah,
this dude's life. Like,
yeah,
and I think Tad, what you're saying though, and I think it's because the movie's so weighed down by uh the core you know subject matter that's going on.
mhm,
A lot of people ain't down for that in their movie. Like
no,
they're not they're not they're not sitting down to be sad. They're sitting down to be like whisked away, and that's why all the fun stuff's always making bank, and everyone likes to laugh, snort, and fart at all the shit.
yeah,
It's not that kind of movie. Like
no,
even in the moments where it tries to add little bits of brevity, like they would have little comedic things, like when he's talking to his dad, the way they made him look like a little kid with a fat fucking head.
yeah.
yeah,
He was
It's
just a little
goofy as
kid
shit. It
again,
was
dude.
yeah, but it's hard. It was really like just like the main character. You're at that point in the film, you're just like, man, nothing's funny.
yeah,
Like
When his
this is
dad
this
told
is.
him, he said, "I'm sorry, I never told you I was proud of you." But he's like, "Well,
Oh
you
yeah, this
did,
movie
but
was
in your
I'm
own way."
I mean, ultimately, this movie was depressing as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I don't know, him at the end, he was happy to run it. It's like he wanted to get away from all that.
yeah,
He's like,
Yeah,
all right, I went and visited it all. Now I'm ready to let go. Closure.
yeah,
A lot of people hated the ending. That was a lot of the reviews when you look it up. They're like, they just wasn't a fan of the way. It was like, well, it's all right. Then it gets to the end. It's like, what?
but
They put a
but
bow
that's
on it for you. That's where everything makes sense.
well, I think people probably didn't enjoy the ending because, like, he didn't come out of the coma, he didn't recover,
Hey,
he
no
he
country
moved
for old
on.
man. Get the
well,
fuck out of here, you know?
well,
Yeah, I mean,
and I think to kind of hone in and split hairs on the coma thing, I think because at the end of the day, almost a it was almost 3 hour movie that just ultimately became a classic. Yeah, I was in a coma the whole time.
But it was a wild ride.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's not necessarily my view on it, but I know that's
Yeah.
a lot. I know that would fall on a lot of
They're like,
people because I
cop
mean,
out. And it's like, well, people
because
did coma.
the limbo purgatory thing, like I know there
We
was a
hadn't had a good
period
one in a
where that
while.
was yeah.
He did a good crack at it.
yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's I mean it's a good movie. It's a I mean some people I guess would argue it's a real movie. Like
yeah,
it's not a like you're not gonna watch this to be like, all right, let's crank up the AC/DC and blow up buildings. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's
right,
it ain't that shit.
yeah. I'm gonna give it a full star. I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Full star.
Um, so to be on brand with Bardo, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a Bardo rating. On
How
the
do we
one
measure that
side,
in stars?
it's a half star.
Okay.
Um, and it's not because it's a bad movie,
No,
but because of its runtime and because of the complexity of this
it is
movie,
long.
you can't recommend this movie to anyone. They've
No,
got to stumble on it themselves.
but that's why it's like, if you could just get to the end, you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
But you got to
yeah.
get there. And it's
Because
like,
I mean,
oh,
dude, because it's a
that makes
slow
sense.
burn. Like
Yeah,
even my antsy self, the first 30 minutes, I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm
How much?
like don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of weird. I love surrealist shit. I dig it. I'm down. But the first 30 the first 20 to 40 minutes, I struggled to be like, all right, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
But like you guys said, when the ending kicks in, you're like,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Because like, but like I said, I guess my big asterisk to it is that like it's a good movie, great film. The guy doesn't the guy doesn't know how to do bad.
No.
Uh, but like a lot of his films too, though, this was definitely not his most accessible one.
No.
And I hate to
Even
say
though it
that
was on
on a
Netflix, you know.
yeah, well, yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
like
kind of.
in
I know
terms
what you
of
mean.
yeah.
I
But
mean, a lot of people saw the trailer and was just like, okay, which would have come out like kind of around COVID.
Yeah.
So that probably
I
kind of
think
buried it.
it's odd though, um, that we have I mean, it's in different contexts for sure, but we have two Latin slash Spanish, however you want to call it, films that have come out, and they haven't like, and I mean movies that are very culturally ingrained, and one of them is a AAA blockbuster, and the other one is a very intimate story by a very prolific director and filmmaker, and we're getting crickets, and that's a shame.
What are the movie you talking about?
Blue Beetle,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
and you know, and it sucks that a lot of people are going to skip over this movie.
Yeah.
It is because I think it needs to be. I would recommend it to people if I could get down the rabbit hole of talking movies with them long enough. But like you can't like somebody that's all about Vin Diesel ain't gonna fucking give this movie
No,
the
I
time of
wouldn't
day.
even
No.
try to make my
I mean,
grandfather watch it, dude. I knew that
Yeah.
first scene. I knew when I watched that, I was like, I think we should save this because it. I saw where it was going.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is strange.
yeah,
Not for them.
No.
but yeah, I give it a half star. Full star with an asterisk of half star. I mean, just
Flip the
Yeah.
coin.
you know what I mean. It's gonna be as our rating will be as open ended as the ending.
They should have played. You know how they do in the Big Lebowski when they do Hotel California.
Hmm
They should have done like that, but like Don't Fear the Reaper at the end. But it's
Oh,
all
that
like
would have.
classical,
Yeah,
and it's
that
like,
would have
is
been
that Don't Fear the
amazing.
Reaper?
Yeah, that would have
That would
been
have been cool.
incredible.
It gets the coveted real estate Birdman,
It,
Golden Birdman.
it's I don't know, man. That dude makes his he is the
Bangers.
Hispanic. He's the Hispanic Nolan.
He is.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. And I don't want my
He might
rating to
even have
reflect
something
that
that
there's
Nolan don't
that.
have really.
yeah,
I think that's just where he came from.
I'm
yeah.
just saying, I'm waiting for the tag team match where they both make a movie together.
Oh my
First
God.
half, first half is this guy, or the first act's this guy. Second half's
Or
Nolan, or
they
second
write
act's
one
Nolan.
together and
Oh man,
maybe even get
written by
old Nolan's
Nolan.
brother involved. And the dude that this guy writes with, he's got a guy he likes to write with. He's like, I got a guy.
Mhm.
He's got words.
And
I mean, right.
instead of seeing like the film splice circle in the top right corner, instead you hear Macho Man Randy Savage going "Tag me,"
Yeah.
and then like that's when the movie style change. No, but yeah, you guys, I agree with what y'all are saying though. He's definitely he's in that group that you would absolutely put Nolan in. There is an aesthetic that you can pick out of it that both
Well, they make
filmmakers have.
films.
Yeah,
They don't
Yeah.
make movies.
yeah. I would like to see Nolan do like an introspective, personal flick. I'd like to see his
Oh,
approach to
because
that.
we don't know nothing about that guy.
Yeah,
It's a
I would
mystery.
like I would like to see this director. I would like to see him do a time travel movie.
Oh, that would be insane,
low
right?
budget, like, and I'm not talking like, all right, guys, let's punch in the coordinates and get inside the pod.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be like
What
crazy,
was that? Time crimes?
like
Kind
Oh
just
of.
yeah, yeah,
like yeah, like
Yeah.
just a fucking mind bender, man.
You might have one in the chamber.
yeah. We got a little bit of movie news here, though. If y'all want to hit on this real quick. So, to follow up from a topic that we talked about last week, Marvel VFX artists have confirmed that they will vote to unionize later this month. So, according to the new report from Variety, visual effects crews at Marvel will go ahead with a vote to unionize, with the vote set to take place on August the 21st. The ballots are due on September the 11th, and those votes will be counted on September the 12th. Press release sent out on August the 7th stated that a supermajority of Marvel's more than 50 worker crew had signed authorization cards indicating they wish to be represented by the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Alongside the filing, IATSE's VFX organizer Mark Patch provided a statement which said, for almost half a century, workers in the visual effects industry have been denied the same protections and benefits their coworkers and crewmates have relied upon since the beginning of the Hollywood film industry. He also went on to say this is a historic first step for VFX workers coming together with a collective vote demanding respect for the work we do. So they will be voting on that. So we should have the results for that in within the next couple of weeks. And I'm interested to see how the vote takes the plays out. I'm sure that it will be a, of course, majority voting for. But like I said last week, I'm interested to see how this plays out in the long term.
Now, I know that at like most people, and I kind of believe a little bit of it too. The whole idea that at the end of the day, it's just very money hungry corporate executives wanting to keep as
Greed.
much money as they can.
Hmm.
But I'm also interested in wondering if their actual numbers that they release to the public, like their actual net worth, how much money these companies actually have in the bank.
Hmm.
I wonder if, like, just they're lying about those numbers. And
Right.
Probably. Keep
one
stock
of the
low.
reasons why they can't pay these people enough is because there's no gas in the tank, not only creatively, but financially.
Right. That I
So
mean, but the thing
I
is,
just,
if they vote to unionize, then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to turn all of that information over to the unions.
Oh,
So
see, and that would be an interesting
maybe
turn
that's
of
why they're
events
holding out. They're like,
because it's, I mean, you can find any online hate blogger that gets on there and is like, here's why this company sucks, or here's why this game developer sucks, or whatever. Just those people.
yeah,
Um, it's like one of the low hanging fruits nowadays for these criticism YouTubes and podcasts and stuff like that is that it's Disney. I mean, and we're no exception. We've shit on it as well and went after it as well, and you know, our intent is to be neutral, but at the same time, I mean, we're part of that majority of people that are like, we're wanting Shinola, but you keep giving us tins of shit, like what gives?
yeah,
But um, Disney has, clearly there. I mean, it's public knowledge at this point that they're suffering in some capacity.
right,
So, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of reason to think that 20th century. I mean, hell, that's why they sold to Disney. But Universal, all that shit, like they're all suffering.
yeah,
And because even though these are Marvel VFX artists, it's really these companies, and these companies can be picked up by anybody.
right. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this is going to reflect on like the industry as a whole, but also how this is going to impact Marvel, Disney, and everybody like Star Wars, like moving forward, how
Well,
is this going?
well, also once they do the union and everything, is it going to be writer strike, actor strike, VFS strike?
I mean,
They're all
possibly,
striking.
yeah.
Nothing gets made.
But I mean, at the same time, like, writer strike, actors, and then if like the crew strikes, that's a whole other scenario. You know what I mean? Like, if writers strike, okay. If actors strike, okay. Those things are going to happen. We're living it right now. But if the people that are making everything happen
Yeah.
for you strike, that's a whole different beast. You know what I mean?
Well, what if they start
Um,
cutting their money to pay these others more? I
yeah,
mean, some's going to get cut somewhere, you know?
right. Yeah. So,
Well, I feel like the thing that'll get cut first will obviously be
Doo doo
this
movies.
whole, yeah. Well, I think a restructuring of how Marvel does their sagas now is going to have to obviously come into play.
We
mhm,
talked about that. It's like not a bad thing.
We yeah, like I think the idea of having stuff split into phases for the Infinity Saga was a clever move, but they can't rehash that formula
yeah.
because think about how many years passed for that to be executed properly. I don't think another generation is going to want to like deal with sloppy seconds.
Well, I mean, but also at the same time, like they had a clear cut, defined, and of course, the TV shows didn't exist at the time, but it was such clear cut, defined direction of how they were going to take everything. Because, like, look at just Jonathan Majors' performance in Kang, how that reshaped the entire MCU. And it's like, is it
I
such a
agree.
like those things are good, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that people can get in there and they can make these things happen in that way. But at the same time, like if you're redoing and restructuring all the way up until the final day when you're trying to tell a multi-movie, multi-year story, it's almost like
Well, that's where it becomes stupid because if they're at the point now where they're so money hungry that they're basing their decisions on a performance or box office numbers,
yeah,
then the plan's already dead on arrival.
right.
Because even in the Infinity Saga, they were technically quote unquote duds in that whole series of films.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like they had there were low points in those movies as much as the highs, but to go with what you're saying, there was a defined story that was being worked on, and whether or not one story was better than the other really didn't matter. It was whatever flavor you felt like, that suited. It had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You wanted something a little more funny, watch Ant-Man. You wanted something a little serious, Captain America.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's still comic book movies at the end of the day, and it's all over the top and ridiculous. I get that, but it's I don't know, just changing how they approach it in the way
Mhm.
that they have, where like I said, like we've all said, it's performances and box office numbers like that. That shouldn't that should not be the determining factor. I know they're a business first, and a business's sole purpose is to make money. But when you're planning a long game like this, you need to see it through.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So I'm interested to see how that shakes out, but there is confirmation that they are voting, so we will see that come to light sooner rather than later. But next up here, the Writers Guild and the AMPTP have another meeting as studios chart plan to end the strike. So, as reported by Variety, the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers recently met again in hopes of resolving the ongoing writers' strike. The WGA strike first began on May the 2nd after failing to reach an agreement with the AMPTP. The outlet noted that the two sides have continued to clash on topics like staffing minimums for television workers and streaming residuals based on viewership. While speaking to the outlet, insiders on the studio side noted their irritation with the WGA's response, but also admitted that they were hesitant to negotiate with ourselves in order to reach an agreement. CEOs have shown personal interest in finding a resolution, while top earning executives have also faced backlash regarding their salaries, as well as their public comments about the ongoing strike. Back in July, Disney CEO Bob Iger shared his thoughts on the writers and actors going on strike and claimed that neither were being realistic with their expectations, calling the decision to strike disturbing and disruptive. Iger stated that it was the worst time in the world for this to happen. And then it goes into his response to everything here. It says an update from Variety noted that the WGA met again with negotiations the following day and later issued a message to its members noting that both sides continue to exchange proposals and had plans to meet again. However, no specific dates were provided. The WGA negotiating committee stated, "Thank you for the many messages of support and solidarity as we talk with the AMPTP. As always, be skeptical of rumors from third parties, knowing that the Guild will communicate when we think there is something of significance to report." Additionally, last Thursday, the WGA also released a report criticizing Netflix, Amazon, and Disney and calling them gatekeepers of the entertainment industry. WGA noted that these companies have already shown their ability to abuse a position of dominance. They stated these new gatekeepers have amassed market power through mergers and other anti competitive practices, offering an alarming window into the future of media. The report added each is now taking anti competitive vertical integration to an extreme, turning its streaming service into a walled garden for self produced content, a model built for and dependent on restricting the availability of independent content from competing producers, underpaying creators, and above all, making future consolidation the name of the industry game.
I love
Well,
how they I love how they prefaced it by saying something without saying it. That first paragraph of like, hey, don't believe third party people. That to me that was just like, please don't go to Reddit. Please
hmm
don't go to Reddit.
I know, right? But the thing is this is all I'm going to say about the Writers Guild. It's like, of course, like with the way that the world is changing and everybody is releasing these streaming services, why, as a as a studio, would you not put your own content out into the world? You finance it yourselves. You put the people in place to make it happen, and you produce that content. How is that any different than a TV station that's owned by insert fucking TV station owner here producing content for, you know what I mean? Like, why would they not think that it would go this way? First of all, like, if this is the natural way that things were going to progress, they should have seen this written on the wall when Netflix first started offering streaming services over 10 years at this point. It's been over 10 years since Netflix has been streaming.
But see,
So,
but Netflix exclusives are still a fairly recent thing. I mean, in
right,
the grand scheme of things. And, having it to where it's restricted content, we all know that it's just a ploy for them to try to garner a subscription retention.
right. And the thing, like, okay, if I am someone at Netflix and let's say that we release a show. Let's look at that Willow show for example, right? That Disney released the Willow series, didn't do well. They pulled it off the streaming service because it wasn't doing well. If Bob Joe's streaming service came along and offered to buy the Willow, you know, IP or at least the streaming rights for it for fifty million dollars, is Disney going to turn that down? No, they're not. So it's creating a new market is what it's doing. It's and it's using a lot of the same ideas and the same tactics that they use for television production, but now, I mean, we see this in a different way because, or at least I see this in a different way, because when I was growing up, I had antenna, which means I had four stations that I could watch.
Hmm.
Unless we had satellite, we had ABC, NBC, Fox, and like, what was the other big one? ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS.
CBS.
Those were the four stations that we had to watch when I was growing up.
Yeah. If the president was on, your night was shot.
Exactly.
He gonna be on every
Until
channel.
until Dish, DirecTV, all this stuff. We didn't have cable. We
Cable.
don't
Yeah.
even we still don't have cable where I live at.
Oh
We don't
yeah.
like, not in the same way that like other places have cable,
Yeah.
that have access to like 50 channels on cable. That's not a thing. So I look at this in a very different way because I grew up with four channels. You know, you
Hmm.
had PBS too, and you get to watch as much Barney as you want on that motherfucker. But like, like, I'm looking at it from a different way. Of course, this is creating like a new way things are, like they're using a lot of the same old techniques that's been there and applying it to new technology. And I mean, there's nothing stopping people from pulling some of this content. If the streaming services are going to pull the content down and not allow people to get residuals for them, then I would think that it would be up to the people that produced it to try to shop it around if that's an option or an opportunity there. But
Well,
we don't.
I think we all know what's going to happen though, and it's that yeah, these services will be around for a while. They'll keep they'll they'll these companies will go bankrupt before they cancel these services because they're so ingrained now. Like everyone has a streaming service now. Some people purchase more than one. I mean, my wife's one of those. Like she's got like two or three different services at any given moment. But I think a metaphor that works well for this is cable, dish, whatever you want to call it, like classic TV was the sacred timeline. And we're in the middle of phase 4 or 5 right now of digital cable or digital TV and all that, of internet TV, I guess. And I mean, it's like that old meme, man. It's slowly gonna like, it's a snake eating its tail and it's just gonna come back full circle. And eventually someone is going to cave or someone is going to put up enough capital to monopolize it. They're going to find ways of getting out of the monopoly loopholes and stuff, but it'll either be Disney, it'll either be, it's slowly going to narrow down to where there's just going to be one service you pay for, and everything else, it's like, oh, you want to watch this show so that everything can still be kind of what it is. You'll have one service. You'll go in there and you'll be like, all right, well, I want the Netflix content. All right, well, you pay $5.99, you have access to all the Netflix exclusives. You want you want the Universal stuff? Oh, well, another $6.99, on your bill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's, I definitely see something like that happening. And we've talked about that in the past. It's like, why can't I download one app on my phone and connect all of my streaming services to it and pull all of that metadata into it where I can stream Netflix on the same app that I stream Hulu, that I stream Disney Plus? I mean, we've talked about that. Like basically one thing to host all of it. Will that happen? Yeah, I'm sure at some point it will. Will it happen soon? Absolutely. Especially after this strike, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think that the executives are going to be so tight reined on everything for the next 10 to 15 years that if they thought that it was bad before, it's going to be worse because good luck getting a green light on producing something. It's going to have to be something that is a guaranteed surefire, way money making machine. It's
Oh,
gonna
like
have to
we're
be.
gonna we're probably gonna get a spike in a shit ton of children's content because that's the safe
Commercials.
Yeah.
yeah. And I think as far as our films, we're gonna start seeing more simpler movies again. Um, I think the spectacle films will absolutely always be around, but like we were saying last week, it's definitely going to be a quality uptick and a quantity downtick, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, and
Um,
I think because of that, we're going to see studios like A24 and any others that pop up. They're really going to flourish during this time because whenever they have these independent production companies start releasing content and producing more content, then it's basically going to be. And I don't think that this is going to happen this exact same way, but I think A24 is going to continue to produce what they produce. All the major studios are going to tighten their reins. A24 is going to expand out just a little bit and start bringing other creators into it to create content. Then that's going to rise up to almost meet the same level of the giants that we have now. If they don't get bought out before then, by the way, but they're going to rise up because they're going to be in the same boat as everybody else, and it's just going to be this. It's going to be that vicious cycle like you were talking about.
and yeah, and that's that I could see that happening. I also feel like companies like A24, Blumhouse, and all those other the ones that really like the beauty in all this is that horror can just stay the course and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and so can the weird, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the commercially weird. I want
yeah,
to underline that. Um, because you know, one thing that will always get people out on a date night will be a good horror film
yeah,
because it'll either be really good and people will genuinely have a good time watching it, or it'll be so bad that you're gonna have a good time watching it.
yeah,
Because that's just how the horror genre works.
yeah,
And I feel like if A24 expands, I think they'll they'll they're obviously gonna, or if they probably already have, they're gonna figure out how to bottle that ominous feeling that's in every fucking one of their movies, which is not a bad thing, but that's a staple for them.
mhm.
Got a little fog in the horizon line. Like it's A24, baby. You know? It's I mean it's the
Right.
truth.
It is.
The Green Knight, tons of fog.
Yeah.
Hereditary, tons of fog. Like, anyway. Um Midsummer, fog with mushrooms.
Yeah,
But anyhow, they'll start making more safer movies, but they'll be able to throw that filter on there. They'll throw some fog in it,
yeah,
some screeching violins a little bit. Um, and most importantly, they won't suck anymore because a third, hell, that's being nice, 2/3 of most horror films that come out, they're crap.
yeah,
I mean, they are. I mean, that new Saw film that's going to come out, Tobin Bell or not, it's the 10th goddamn Saw film in the franchise. It's going to be
mm,
crap.
Yeah, it's like come up with something else. Can't be that
Yeah,
hard.
and I think A24 and Blumhouse are. I mean, now remember back in the day, Blumhouse they were kind of had a Miramax effect where it was like, oh, it's this weird movie starring these fuckers I don't know. Pop in
yeah,
Blumhouse, and it's like, okay, I guess we're in here for the long
But they
haul.
know that's sure money, man.
yeah,
That
Yeah,
movie's gonna
I
come
mean,
out. It's gonna make 200, 300 million, whatever. It'll make its money back, and
but
fuck, they'll make another one.
to add to what Griffin said though, with them filling that vacuum a little bit, um, they've had enough time to crank out these movies ever so often. And movies that generally get pretty good praise. They're kind of locked across the board. Even the mixed review films, it's always very split haired opinions.
mm,
Um, a quality uptick while quantity going up more I don't think that's going to be that hard for A24 to accomplish if they were to do it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I know we're just chewing the fat on it, but I mean A24 is a great. Like you brought up, Griffin, they're a great production company that could fill the void because even though all this stuff is going on, the thing that's going to suffer the most is the same thing that we've been hounded about for going on 4 years now, with COVID, and it's the movie theater.
Yeah.
It's suffering. It's not, I saw whatever you want to call the name of a message on X, um, just tons of photos of tweets and stuff. That's what the fuck they still are, man. But they're pictures of like people being at the Blue Beetle premiere and like the lobby's empty. You see like the whole display in front of the entrance to the screen, it's all decked out with the end cap, like grab your complimentary poster, and it's like no one.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a deeper thing going on with that because like when I went and watched Guardians, it was full. Like the entire theater was packed, and when I went and saw Evil Dead, it was packed.
Well, I think it's just very pick and choose
Well,
in a very weird way too. But
Well,
well, I mean,
and the
because
price
even
of
though,
things have gone up, so people are
yeah,
definitely gonna be doing that. You know,
well, like for instance,
that's gas money. You know,
now I know I think it had a dual release, but when um when I went and watched the Batman, I was the only motherfucker in the theater. And
yeah,
I'm like, this is a goddamn Batman movie, dude. Like there
that's
there should have at least
but
been
that's
like,
depending on the day. That's pretty common for
yeah.
where we live. You can get a
yeah,
close to a private screening, but when you see people in cities, going in
yeah,
there watching it alone, it's like that's not good.
yeah,
Yeah. And sadly that's exactly what Blue Beetle seems to be dealing with.
Yeah.
Now I could be wrong, but I have yet to
Well, they
see
also know it's going to be on HBO Max.
I've yet to see
So,
anything come out where people are like, dude, this movie's awesome. I've seen stuff that is positive for it, but I think it's like kind of in the like kind of what I was saying earlier, about the film about Bardo. Most of the comments I've heard on Blue Beetle is that they're like, dude, the movie's really good. It's all about the main character's culture and
yeah.
heritage and everything, and some of that goes over people's heads. And I'm like, that shouldn't stop people from going to watch a superhero movie just because you don't understand why they got
Or
to do a
never heard
certain
of the
thing a certain
character or,
way. That's not
you
going to
know.
stop the fact that by the third act, he's going to be suited up fighting somebody in a supernatural way.
But
Like,
what people know is they're like, I'm already paying for Max, and in 6 months,
yeah,
I can watch it at
yeah,
home. That's where we're
yeah.
at.
Well, and I
Because that's
think
what I'm
I
going
think
to
that
do.
yeah, and I think that there's more feeding into the Blue Beetle thing than I just with the way that the director has came out and tried to like almost like and we were talking about this one night. Him and like double, triple downing on the fact that like Blue Beetle's gonna be around and Blue Beetle's gonna be a thing and Blue Beetle's gonna be coming back and Blue Beetle this and Blue Beetle that. And
All
it's like
right.
if I understand
Why is
confidence
he
in your
trying to sell it
movie.
to us, though? Like,
Exactly.
you don't have to
Exactly.
do that.
And I think that it was one of those things where maybe it didn't test well, maybe you
Mm.
know, because I mean, obviously interest isn't as high for it. I mean, it's made
well,
money and
well,
everything,
they
but
were,
like,
but the whole thing is they were like, weren't they at some point? Didn't we read an article where they were banking on Blue Beetle attempting to be a tentpole film?
well, the director was building it up as to be one, but he's the only one.
Mm.
James Gunn was like, "It's a great movie. I
Yeah.
think everybody should go watch it," but he's not like, "Yeah, you need to
He's
see
going to
this
be in the next
movie."
10 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's nothing
Well,
like
Mm.
that. So
yeah, because now I know I don't know if we're covering it tonight or not. No, but I feel like it deserves an honorable mention. So the whole stink about um, Henry Cavill not coming back as Superman, and how the argument was crafted around the idea that James Gunn's iteration of the character was going to be younger and that he needed a younger actor. And as much as that sucked, most people were like, okay, well, not the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, he came out and said he's not going to be a young Superman, as like he's not going Smallville with it. Like that was
Right.
what I took from it. And I think people, whenever he was like, well, we're going to do a younger version, basically saying like, we want to pick somebody that's going to be up and willing to play Superman for the next 10 to possibly 20 years. Is Cavill going to want to do Superman? And I'm sure that he probably would, but
He'd probably
like,
do it, but I get where they're coming from.
yeah,
He's
so
gonna
it's
look
like,
weird standing next to Robert Pattinson. I mean,
yeah,
But at the same time, I think it's still also a crying shame, and I assume we'll probably get to it in trailers. I feel like it's in the pile, but it's a shame that Zack Snyder, if they had,
oh,
I
it's
know
in there.
I know we've said it a lot. I know we've said it a lot, but I don't care. I'll keep saying it. If they would have let the man finish his story,
Well, just let him cook.
yeah,
He was
and
cooking.
he would have gave you dessert and he would have washed your dishes for you.
Yeah, it would have been like that.
So if
The
like
menu.
because the way the story was going to end was he was going to reboot the universe, have his story be
Yeah,
concluded, and basically have it tailor ready for the next group of filmmakers or filmmaker to be like, all right, let's recast this guy, let's redo this. Like he was going to have it all set up to do, but Warner Brothers was like, no, let's do it now.
yeah.
Let's do it now, and that sucks.
With as much as they've drug ass over at Warner Brothers, he could have been done already.
yeah.
We could already
So,
we would be watching the trailer for Justice League 2 or 3 right now
yeah.
if they had just let them if they would have just let the box office and let the movies let the plan play out. Because it's so funny how you'll see now where there's so many people that are like, man, they why didn't they let him finish? They should have let him finish. They should have let him
Because
finish.
every studio
When
has a fucking Kathleen Kennedy.
Well,
Apparently,
when years ago when we were all like, dude, these movies are awesome, and you get online and it's like, wow, does the world
yeah.
really disagree with
We
me
gave them
that
all
much?
stars. Fuck them.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. But one little last tidbit here that we have on the whole strike thing that's happening, and this was published 20 hours ago. AI created work cannot be copyrighted. U.S. judge determines amid Hollywood strikes. So,
Subscribing to Mid Journey
Damn.
now.
as reported by Rolling Stone, a federal judge has now ruled that artwork made entirely by artificial intelligence cannot be copyright for the reason that human authorship is an essential part of a valid copyright claim. This decision could potentially work in favor of the ongoing WGA and SAG AFTRA strikes, as the ruling affirms that Hollywood studios would not be able to copyright projects created using AI. The new ruling was given by Judge Beryl Howell and was the result of computer scientist Stephen Thaler's attempt to copyright an image he claimed was made by an AI model known as Creativity Machine. Thaler argued that as the owner of Creativity Machine, he should be entitled to its copyright. The computer scientist sued after the Copyright Office rejected his application. The judge's decision was in favor of the Copyright Office's initial findings. Howell stated the act of human creation and how to best encourage human individuals to engage in that creation and thereby promote science and the useful arts was thus central to America copyright from its very inception. Non-human actors need no incentivization with the promise of exclusive rights under United States law, and copyright was therefore not designed to reach them. He also noted underlying that adaptability, however, has been a consistent understanding that human creativity is the sine qua non at the core of copyrightability, even as that human creativity is channeled through new tools or into new media. Copyright has never stretched so far, however, as to protect works generated by new forms of technology absent any guiding operating absent any guiding human hand, as plaintiff urges here. Human authorship is a bedrock requirement of copyright.
Some
Hal
people are going to
added,
use it, just not tell them. I mean,
well, Hal added that we are approaching new frontiers in copyright as artists put AI in their toolbox to be used in the generation of new visual and other artistic works. The judge noted that this will prompt challenging questions about how much human input is necessary to qualify the user of an AI system as an author of a generated work, the scope of the protection obtained over the resultant image, how to assess the originality of AI generated works where the system may have been trained of unknown pre existing works, how copyright
mm,
might best be
mm.
used to incentivize creative works involving AI, and more. Still, according Still, according to Howe, this case was not nearly so complex. In response to the ruling, Thaler's lawyer, Ryan Abbott, told the outlet, "We disagree with the district court's decision. In our view, copyright law is clear that the American public is the beneficiary of the law, and the public benefits when the generation and dissemination of works is encouraged, regardless of how the works are made. We do plan to appeal." As for the ongoing double strike, it's worth noting that one of the reasons that SAG-AFTRA initiated their strike was due to the fact that AI is being used to mimic actors' voices and likenesses without the consent of the performer. Artificial intelligence has remained an issue in terms of negotiations between the studio and those on strike. Previously, while speaking at a press conference, SAG-AFTRA's chief negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland called out Hollywood studios' proposal for using AI technology. Crabtree Ireland stated, "This groundbreaking AI proposal that they gave us yesterday, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity on any project they want with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again." Yeah, so I'm interested to see when they start splitting hairs on everything. You know, who the
It
hell is this?
that's Duncan right there. That's
Okay,
Mr. Crabtree, but Ireland. You got
yeah,
that all right.
Arlen. Yeah,
I get where they're coming from. That everything that the AI makes, it's ripping off from other shit.
yeah,
I get that. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
right.
But you'll have
Well,
people that use it, dude. Like that new version of Photoshop.
yeah,
You can just hit an area and be like, generate, put a
yeah,
cat here. It puts a cat there. That's
yeah,
different.
yeah. Well, and I've already seen some of this kind of come to light in a not so, um, I guess, formal way. So there was a new D&D book that came out, and one of the artists that created artwork for the book, that submitted the artwork 2 years ago for this book to be published, used AI to enhance the artwork of some of the images that he had painted or drawn,
Yeah,
however he did it. And you could tell the hands were messed up. The feet, this was two
sure.
years ago. So, and once you started kind of looking into it, you could absolutely tell that it had AI assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he came out and said, he didn't get approval or anything like that through Wizards of the Coast or anybody else. He just submitted the artwork, and he didn't tell them that he used AI to help try
Mm.
to enhance the artwork. So they came out and they basically were like, we've already published the book because people found out about it before the book release date happened. People were sent early copies of the book, like influencers, to talk about it, and people started discovering it. And Wizards was like, "Well, we've already produced like tens of thousands of copies of this book, but moving forward, we're not going to have these AI doctored images printed in
Hmm.
the book." And they came out and said that, no artist, anybody, whether they're writing or drawing or, painting, anything like that, will be allowed to use any type of AI assistance tools. And if they do it, then they have to tell us and how much it contributed and all this. They're trying to get ahead of the curve. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into this whole situation with the whole OGL and all that stuff with Wizards, but like they're trying to get ahead of the curve on that because there's going to be a time very, very soon where those hairs are going to be split. And it comes down to like whenever you write something, like you have to contribute what 60% of a script to get a writing credit or 30% or
I
something
think
like
it was
that.
30, 35.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're going to split these hairs soon, and they're going to make it to where, I mean, and right, almost rightfully so. If you don't create at least like 80 to 90% of it, then you
Well,
know what
they're
I
going to
mean?
have to make a program that'll tell them if it was AI generated
Yeah,
words. I mean, because how you going to know? Did you
exactly.
write the
Yeah,
script yourself? Yeah.
yeah,
Did I use AI like here and there? Sure.
yeah,
How you going to know?
yeah. Right.
I'm not going to tell you that I did it. I mean, it's a tool.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's going to get better. Do that Mid Journey. That shit is fucking.
yeah.
I've seen like
And
videos they've made with it. It's getting better.
I think the only way that that they're going to be able to impose these regulations on it is they're going to have to go after the people that the people that created the AI. Like that's going to have to be their approach to it, right? Because they're going to have to be like, look, everything that's generated needs to be documented, and
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. So because like I mean, if you put an AI out there and you use it for, asking it dumb questions or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like that's whatever it is. But like whenever you have somebody creating something and this is assisting them in the creation, there needs to be some type of record or some type of document that could just be mass search to see, hey,
Yeah.
scan this, send it through the AI, see if any of it, what was AI generated and how much of it was AI generated. And they're going to use the AI to scan the AI to see how much AI generated shits in, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy. But anyway,
Dude, when I got on Google earlier to pull the movie up so I could look at stuff and, you know,
yeah.
Google asked me, would you like to turn on AI for search results? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it has me
Yeah,
that as
turn it
well.
on.
Yeah.
Give
Let's
me.
go. Yeah.
Because
That's
that search result's probably going to be better than the one you're going to give me. Goddamn.
yeah, right.
Google's slipping.
So I thought that this was interesting, and this does help the writers and the actors and everything with their calls. But like, look, I
They're
think
still
we
going to
talked
use
about
it.
the
I mean,
yeah, and I think that we talked about this early on. They're going to have to really like this. The courts are going to have to do something about this
yeah.
because, like, as a studio exec, I would want people to use it because it's going to save money. But as a
Mhm.
but as someone that is creating something, I would want to use it. For certain like you know what I mean. Like, there's
But here's
too
their
many
problem
sides.
is these companies have enough money to lobby
Oh yeah, I
and they'll
know.
get these congressmen on their side.
Yeah.
It'll go in their favor.
Oh yeah,
They
for
got too
sure.
much money.
Yeah.
Google. Come on.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting though. 20 hours. Next up here, Ghost Rider rumor claims new movie was in development before the strike happened. So the latest rumor surrounding the world of Marvel claims that a new Ghost Rider movie was in development before the writer and actor strike, and that this new Ghost Rider project will move forward once the strikes have concluded. Coming courtesy of noted scooper My Time to Shine H. They would likely add the legendary Ghost Rider to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, this is currently just a rumor and has not been verified by Marvel, and thus requires the salt shaker before you keep handy for such things. But with Ghost Rider remaining one of the most beloved characters in Marvel Comics and one that fans have wanted to return to the big screen for some time, the studio having plans for a new Ghost Rider movie could certainly make sense. This would not be the first time that Ghost Rider has been on the silver screen. Of course, we know about Nicolas Cage playing him, who also appeared in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Um, And then, of course, Keanu Reeves has stalked his claim on the role of Ghost Rider. So we've talked about that before. But yeah, I thought that this was interesting though. Like, I would love to see Ghost Rider, but I would love to see Ghost Rider done 6 to 8 episodes, kind of like they did Moon Knight. You know, I think that we could really get a good story out of it that way. But yeah. And then last up here, Thunderbolt's director claims the film will not be a sequel to any MCU predecessors, but a standalone experience. So, as the warmth of summer fades, the film world captures everyone's attention with numerous anticipated releases on the horizon. Amidst the ongoing discussions, Thunderbolts by Marvel stands out prominently. This isn't merely another installment in Marvel's vast universe, but rather a tale with its own essence, distinct from any perceived sequel. Marvel Cinematic Universe has consistently merged stories interconnected characters and bridge plots from various movies. With the introduction of characters such as Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, and Taskmaster and Black Widow, speculation arose that Thunderbolts would follow in its footsteps. However, director Jake Schreier demystifies these speculations in a recent interaction with comicbook.com. He said, "Yeah, I wouldn't look at this as a sequel at all, and we don't talk about it in that way. And we've never really kind of approached it in that way in any of the conversations we've had with Kevin or Brian and working on it. I think there's a story to be told about a group of characters who can relate to each other in a certain way or have gone through certain things, and we're going to get into that." While acknowledging the brilliance of Florence Pugh as Yelena, he emphasized, and so much as, I mean, obviously, Florence has proved how captivating she could be in the MCU. And I think it's great to have that as a reference point, but I think we're all talking about making a movie. You can come, and if you've seen that stuff, then great. If you haven't, there's still going to be a complete story that's being told in a movie that works on its own, for sure, while remaining part of the overall storyline. So
Hmm.
I'm excited. I
Sure.
mean,
But
she is.
who's going to watch that hadn't watched all the other shit? Like, come
Yeah, I
on.
know, right?
Oh, dude, she's a real nightingale, if you know what I
Oh
mean.
man, yeah.
Empire State Building, you know?
We. She's so charming.
That's
You
one
know.
word I'd use.
I mean, she is though.
Yeah.
I don't know what other word to use.
I got a few, but well, it's like, dude, they kind of replaced Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah,
kind of her replacement, right? She's kind
yeah.
of like her, like,
I mean, I
but
think for my
hotter,
own
dude.
person. Yeah, I was going to say for my
Whoa, and
own
that's like
personal things.
hotter than Scarlett. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Does not look anything like a pug.
she's the most anti-pug thing I've ever seen. But anyway, I could talk about her forever,
Yeah,
not be upset. She did a bang up job
she
in
did.
Midsummer. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, but
So, you know what I didn't see? I
No.
didn't see this new trailer featuring WWE Champion John Cena.
Burn, 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 burn.
That meme will never get old.
Dude,
well,
that
here's the
video
thing.
where the guy was like, never mind.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, my speakers are still not blown out, so it definitely wasn't loud enough.
Hang on. Burn, burn, burn.
Oh my god,
All right, we ready for trailers? Wait, I'm on the wrong.
Allison Brie?
Dude, we were just talking about her.
Yeah, last night. She's pretty too. She's pretty too. And Christian Slater? Sheesh. Okay.
He's like, hey.
He's
He's kind of doing the Jack Nicholson thing. You guys looking for some weapons? You know? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Has anybody ever told you like Jack Nicholson? All right, I got it queued up. Y'all ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. All right.
Mm-hmm. I want to need more than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like 40. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's a setup. The main dude's in on it. He's a hero. I know this is gonna work because John Cena can mesh with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need help? They're just filming it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think he called it a chicharron.
Not petite at all.
Little silly goose time.
Yeah, right. I like Allison Brie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in anything in a while.
Well, it's been a minute. She's still counting that community money.
Yeah, she's on the phone with Dan. Yo, Dan, when we go finish community?
Dan, man, been a while.
He's like, I've been working on Rick.
He's like, how's your wife? Oh, never mind.
Roswell Delirium.
I mean, what's
Is this
gonna
based on
be
a true
about?
story?
Nah.
Oh, damn it.
Is this that new sci-fi based hardcore band?
It
Yes.
could be.
It's got Anthony Michael Hall in it, though.
Oh, so punk rock. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. With the braces, you know?
Don't forget about D. Wallace.
Well, I mean,
I
you
don't know
know.
who that is. I just saw it in there. All right. 3, 2, 1, play. It's a low budget, but
Looks good.
I mean, we like violence and we like aliens, dude. Waliens, waliens, waliens. That's
I like Discount Elizabeth
I was Olsen,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like her. Mm-hmm. All you need is a keyboard.
Yeah.
They must not have saw the UFO hearings. See, these kids are on about some shortwave. I'm already down.
I mean, look who it is. It's Carl Winslow. Who are them? Oh, enough with the pronouns. It's like, oh, them. Mm.
Are we getting the invasion fleet?
I mean, now it's low budget,
It don't
but you
look
never
bad,
know.
though. Yeah.
Either
You never
way, I'm
know.
still. I don't know why I have an interest though.
I'm gonna put it in, check it out just in case.
I mean, yeah, let it be a
So we
rainy
don't
day
forget
one.
about it, because
No.
that one's gonna go.
I
Way
mean, it's
over
one.
there.
I feel like it could very well be a movie that has a great trailer, but
It's
it's
got
really
Carl
not
Winslow
that
in
good.
He's like, Steve.
This
Where has
next,
this motherfucker been?
Which one?
Both.
It's got Alicia Silverstone.
It does, dude.
When's the last time?
Bro, she looks old.
I mean,
When you see her, you're like, whoa.
I'm ready.
She's 46, but when you see her in the movie, because she's not all dolled up.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm just letting you guys know it's been a long time coming, but I've been waiting for the Mortal Kombat cinematic universe, dude. And I'm so glad Reptile is the tentpole film for it.
Is Timberlake playing Reptile?
No, dude,
know
he's a
what's
CGI
happening here.
character. Like, there's,
So they can't copyright him. Okay.
yeah, totally
He's a
AI.
shapeshifter. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
He always has the same expression.
Okay, Tiff.
Tip upper lip.
Look at this. Okay.
You would not sleep if you had the dreams I dreamed.
Got a Yellow King kind of vibe there. Wait till you see Michael Pitt.
And then I killed my wife.
Nah.
It's a weird rendition of this song.
Right here, dude. Michael Pitt. Boardwalk Empire. Look, he's got a wig. Okay. Get out of here, you fucking Nine Inch Nails fan.
Oh, I didn't know the dude from Buffalo 86 was in here.
Look, they're betting on.
That's a Deadpool there.
It's the little things.
I mean, Timberlake's clearly the bad guy. He's the murderer.
What if he's really a reptile? What's that thing? I like this close up. I'll be watching that.
Yeah, I want to see it. Let's put that in the check it out for sure. Wait, what? Screenplay by who? Story by Grant Singer and Benjamin Brewer. Screenplay by Grant Singer, Benjamin Brewer, and Benicio del Toro.
Benicio.
I'll never forget, dude. Give me a fucking gun, you fucking cocksucker.
As your lawyer.
Never forget. We need to do
Dude.
that.
Dude, speaking of Benicio del Toro, coolest scene to this day is that shot. It's like a little mini, somewhat long shot of him shotgunning his way out of the police
Oh, yeah.
precinct and way of the gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you saw the glass just getting shot the fuck out. Like he's just sitting there, just
He's a
doing
badass.
his thing. Yeah.
Got a little Dan Aykroyd. Chevy Chase.
action?
Chevy
Okay.
Chase.
Chevy. He's like, my bike, Chevy. That's what he drives around. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play.
I bet he was difficult to work with.
Zombieland was taken. So, Zombie Town. That would be my face. You're Dan Aykroyd. Callahan Auto Parts.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie. Now. It looks like they made this movie in Bruce Campbell's backyard.
Yeah.
This movie is
You know what I'm saying?
like this. This is Ghostbusters as fuck, man. Like the tone of the original too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him. Yeah, you can't get away from it. Mm-hmm.
What?
Okay.
R.L. Steins? Ricky.
This is like this movie's tone is like Ghostbusters meets the comedic
Don't
aspect
tell
of
mom
Evil
the
Dead.
babysitter's dead. No.
Oh yeah, that too. And the Goonies.
Looks like a
The
silly
Goonies
good
is
time.
the Goonies is like the chicken of cinema. Is it that everything tastes like the Goonies, or does the Goonies taste like everything?
It'll
Stick
taste
that
so
one in your
good.
back pocket for a rainy day. And you ain't got nothing to think about.
She came to me. This
We
has
got the
Anne
dink.
Hathaway.
And then
Okay.
she ran away.
Now, when I started watching this trailer, it was like they're in a relationship together, and I was like, "Oh, a comedy." So, I mean,
I
let's
only
be real.
hope. I only hope that one day we get a film where universes collide and we get the dink and the goose.
He's like two in the dink.
No, it's one in the dink, two in the goose, because
That's
the
it.
dink. Yeah.
Yeah, two in the bush.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know. Whatever.
We'll fucking.
She came to me.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. New York. How much did he sound like Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In my mind, that's just a little Joaquin right there.
Yeah.
Mm. It looks real gorilla, like it's handheld. He would have a little Frenchie. She looks like Morticia Adams. The dog's name is Levi. Deadliest Catch. Oh, is that Marissa? Is it? No. Oh, it is. It is Marissa Tomei.
Dude, she did. Dude,
Dude,
he did it. He did a tug fug, man.
I loved her in The Wrestler, mainly because she was a stripper, but oh, whoa. Anne Hathaway looks like Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
I can't remember that company. I think this is a typo. She came in me. It's
Wait,
probably
what
the
did it say about Bruce Springsteen? Hold on.
Or like 4.
The new
or-
song "Addicted to Romance" premiering in this movie by Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I mean,
Is it-
dude.
might as
You got the
well
bo-
face it. You're addicted to romance.
I mean, dude, if the boss is on board, it's down to watch.
It's like I'm down with a dink.
I'll have a pinch of that shit, but you know,
The Baker. Oh, it's got Ronnie Pearl in it.
Yeah.
I hope this is based on a true story. Anyway,
He's related to him. Y'all ready?
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
little Donny boy.
Look at him.
The secret to a
believable.
good pizza.
No, it's not.
Oh God. I bet a humble bacon now. I turned that life down years ago.
Hell, I recognize him.
Is that the motherfucker from Avatar, the nerd scientist? Or no, is that the dude from Grandma's Boy?
It is.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's who it is.
He goes, "Back off, nerds."
In the truck. Bring the fentanyl.
We're gonna need the trank
So the
for
kid
this.
don't talk. Does his shirt say Poppy?
Is
Yeah.
this Logan without the Marvel? At this point, does it matter, Donna boy? It's called The Baker, and he's just rolling blunts the whole movie.
When he fucks somebody's up, he's like, "You're baked."
I'm looking to get
Harvey
you high as a
Keitel?
kite and rob you blind.
Come on now.
Oh shit! And I bet that is the only scene they're together in.
No, there's one where he talks at a table. I think that was it.
I feel like he's gonna show up and he's gonna be like classic Harvey Keitel character where he's gonna go. So I hear you make a good croissant in here.
Yeah.
How long you been open, man?
How's the gabagool?
How long you been baking, brother? You know.
Oh, I haven't watched this yet. You guys seen it? Because I haven't watched it.
No, I held off for the
Podlock.
pod. Dude, I'm excited.
December 22nd. This is gonna be. Let's see. This is gonna be his Star Wars, right?
Let's fucking do it.
Fucking 1080p premium. Wow.
If anybody has the buffer, do it now.
3, 2, 1, play.
And it's 3+ minutes long.
Yes, Mm-hmm.
Classic balance metaphor. Digging it.
Is that fucking Hannibal Lecter?
I think so.
That sounds just like Anthony Hopkins. Oh my god, dude. This is already fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. Is that a griffin?
I think so. That's what it looks like.
That's fucking Anthony Hopkins, dude. That's fucking Hannibal Lecter. God damn. It's Star Wars. It's Dune. It's
Oh, he lined
comes.
every IP up and was like,
all
I'm
of
gonna,
it in one.
I'm gonna do
Mortal
you one
Kombat
better.
sprinkled in.
I'm gonna do you. Oh shit. Okay.
Let's go.
Yes.
Podlocked.
Yeah, that
Damn.
looks really good.
I even
Really,
loved
really
his little take on lightsabers.
good. Yeah, right. Yeah, that looks.
Like how
Ah.
40K did that Imperial shit look?
Mhm. I know, right? That's I'm pretty interested to see.
Yeah, I'm sold on who the Empire is supposed to be and what their whole motives is.
They look
Because
like
I
a
mean,
bunch of
like,
Nazis.
like the movie. Oh yeah, space Nazis. But I mean, that's the
Spotsies.
thing. The movie, the trailer itself lets you know, hey, we know exactly what kind of movie it's trying to be.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shine away from that. But I like the originalness of it, though, because it's
Mm.
still, even
Got
though
that
it pulls
new.
from all that shit, it still don't feel like
Got that
any of that
new.
shit, you know?
Where's Chris Tucker?
Yeah.
Do y'all want to watch the one at the bottom there before?
Yeah. Well, the reason,
It's like a documentary here.
I know, and I've always been very fascinated by the whole
I'll
Ed
make
Gein
a
thing.
shoehorn out of your shins.
Yeah. So
Really
this
good band.
this has me interested.
Yeah.
Well, he's the original Leatherface.
Yeah,
He's
right.
one
So,
fucked up motherfucker, that's for sure.
and if they've
I
got
mean,
tapes
Of
and
him
video
talking?
footage, yeah, dude.
oh, that
Yeah, I'm
shit is
interested
always.
in that.
Because it's always so disturbing how plainly these people talk sometimes. How, like, they're just, like, nonchalant. Hearing them in a nonchalant state of mind
Yeah.
is
That
just so
British dude that
disturbing
the
to me.
doctor played,
Mm,
that dude was just like, yeah, I chopped him up. And I did sexy stuff with them when they were dead. And it's like, okay,
Well,
that's
like,
enough.
like Ed Kemper shit.
yeah.
That'll make your skin crawl, dude.
Yeah.
The guy that played him on that, was it Mindhunter?
He was fucking incredible,
So
right?
good.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that
So good.
there's a part in Mindhunter whenever dude when he goes and he visits Kemper in the hospital,
Yeah. And was worried
and
he was
there's
going to
this
kill him.
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
this moment where he raises up and his feet just slap the fucking like it
Oh, he thought he was going to kill him.
emphasizes that he's a big boy, you know. Like that'd be scary as shit, dude. Knowing that big lanky fucker standing up and all he wants to do is just chat with you, and you're like,
My
don't eat
wife's
my
waiting there. I got to
face.
go, you know?
Yeah, don't eat
Mhm.
my face and fuck my neck, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested. I saw this. I was like, I want to see what this is about.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. Of course. Let's see the tapes. They're not playing his voice on purpose. There it is. I just did it.
I
Bet.
want to check that out.
Yeah. I got bookmark real quick, like.
Yeah.
Oh.
KD the Devil. Okay.
Waylands. I mean,
29 million
all right.
views.
One of the reasons I dropped this, listen, as soon as this trailer starts, there's these people like, there's Morse code, boo, 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 boo. There is a dude sitting at what they're trying to say is a switchboard.
Yeah.
It's a fucking PA. It's a mixer. Okay? It's like,
Okay.
you can look at it, it's like, that's a mixer. It's got faders. Like, why would you need to have a high, mid, and a low?
Yeah.
On a
You're
phone
like, you're
line?
patching.
It's
like, why are you patching calls through
You'll
a
see,
patch
dude.
cam, bro?
When I saw that mixer, I laughed out loud because I was like, I get what you're doing because you just had that laying around, but damn, it's a mixer. You'll see it. It's right at the beginning, and it shows up several times. All right, I think it's in the credits, but it's in there a lot, dude. All right, 3, 2, 1, play. It's right here at the beginning. Watch this. There it is. It's just a mixer, dude. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Even when they're serious, it looks like a good time.
Look at that.
That chant's what plays when I reach the end of the bag of chips.
Right there, look, mixer, wires running into it. Cool shot. Look, why is he turning? He's like, let me get some mids on that. You know what I mean? That's not what that is. He said something
dude,
about Oprah.
Forgive them. They don't know how to channel strip.
Yeah. It's like, you can do all this digital.
Dude, I did not know Studio One was born through the ashes of a mighty war.
Look at them. They're just, it makes sense. All this playing. He's like, we're going to record. We're going to make the best record. Oh. Uh-oh.
I mean,
That dude is stiff. Okay.
it's time to open this
That's a
fucking
choice.
pit, dude.
That tire's going to burn a long time, you know? Mm-hmm.
Notice our exquisite camera work.
It does look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the violence junkyard.
This guy does not fear fire
Look at
at
him.
all.
Or burning metal.
Dude, I didn't know Matt Berry was in this movie.
He's like, hang on. I'll take a pinch of that shit.
Oh, that's right, because the devil, I see what they
See
did.
what they
Yeah.
did? Yeah, for sure.
The
Warm
fucking
again.
horns, man.
That was worthy, right?
That was a great
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the hype music was real, dude.
It's really just a song. Most of them are songs. They're promoting a song. T-series. All right. We're at the end of the road here.
What are we gonna watch next week?
Well, you did mention something the other night that I might be interested in.
Yeah.
We could
Have you
float
seen
it
the
to
Revenant,
Trav.
Trav?
Oh, surely he's seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Same
Well,
director.
one of us has not
I have
watched
not
it.
watched The Revenant.
Oh.
I've been podlocked for 8 years. Nah, I didn't, but I
No, for real, I will sit through it again.
I want to
just-
watch it. It's just when I sat down to watch it one time, I was like, "Oh, it's 3 hours." Okay,
Dude, there's
not
a
right now.
horseback. There's a horseback sequence that he shoots in this movie that is incredible.
Well, I remember all the stuff online and on late night shows where it was like he got raped by a bear. They made fun of it. It was a whole thing. Remember all that? It was funny.
Dude, there's a shot that's because this was the movie where he was like, I shot the whole film in natural lighting. Like,
Yeah.
there's no touch up to that, I don't think.
Also in the
Or
snow.
if there is, it's very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a long shot he does, like I said, that's on horseback. And from start to finish, that scene is so fucking intense, man. I'm jealous that you're gonna experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it.
It's
I've
an
got a-
incredible flick.
I've got a Blu-ray
yeah.
copy of it too. I've had it for a very long time.
Yeah, I've got a Blu-ray copy too.
Yeah, just
It's
wait.
probably that Black Friday copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Black Friday.
Well, I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it's a good old fashioned mountain man revenge movie.
Well, dude, it's got Leo. I mean,
And
and who?
And
Tom Hardy.
Oh,
Yeah, Tom Hardy's in it.
I can't wait to hear the voice that he does.
Oh, it's
because I know it's going to be
yeah,
exquisite, dude.
it's
Dude, he's
different,
so
dude.
good in the Peaky Blinders. When he shows up, you're like,
But yeah, man, I think you'll enjoy it.
Of course
I
I
also
will.
think it is probably it's a movie you can sit down and watch it with anybody, man.
Yeah.
It's that kind of movie. It's really good.
Well, it's settled. Now, let me ask you guys this. Are we going to try to peep Ahsoka? Because that is out. The first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think something else dropped too.
I'm not worried about anything else. I mean,
No, like it
Ahsoka,
was
though.
no, I think it's show wise. Oh, for sure. That goes without saying.
I didn't know if we were going to try to work that in. We might have to come in later. I mean, we'll figure it out.
There was something else that dropped
But Ahsoka came out.
that I
today.
remember we were like, I don't know. If and when I find it
We'll
again,
figure
I'll run it through you guys in the appropriate channels.
Well, here's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to get, of course, the movie in, and also Ahsoka. But
it is
if
2
my
episodes.
yeah, well, and my weekends have been a little hectic to say the least. So I'm gonna try to cram as much as I
If we
possibly
we
can. Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is, and it's not anything I was recommending for this week or next week, but moving forward in the coming weeks, the Death Clock movie, it is available on digital now.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
we
is
still got to
it
do the.
That's a back to back.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Doomstar
Yeah.
Requiem.
okay.
And do them back to back. So
That's gonna be so good.
Swing.
I love that shit. It's so funny. It's so metal. It's so epic. It's badass.
oh yeah.
I'll take a pinch of that shit. I mean, the check's in the mail.
Oh yeah.